Hello, welcome to yet another low-budget history documentary that someone is trying to sell to Netflix. I am your host, the Professor. Wait, that exists? That's a branded name already? I can't use that? Okay. I am your host, History AI, and today we're going to be covering the approximate history of Innistrad. What that means is, like many other historians on TV and YouTube, basically what I did was read the wiki like twice, and then I'm recording it like a day after. So let's see how close I get. Our story begins back during the time of legends in another plane that's not Innistrad. Actually, nobody knows where the plane is, because the three, which are the three planeswalkers, Sorin the vampire, Eugene the colorless spirit dragon guy, and Nahiri the core lady that definitely doesn't have anger issues. The three of them meet on an unknown plane that was already eaten and wrecked by these spaghetti monsters named Eldrazi. Yes, it's another Eldrazi story. It can't be a magic story if there's no spaghetti monsters, right? Okay, so the Eldrazi consumed this plane, and the three are like, yo, how do we deal with them? And then they come up with a plan. And here's the plan. The plan is to lure them into a plane that has a lot of life, teeming with life. And the plane they picked was Nahiri's own plane, Zendikar. Yes, it's because of all those masterpieces. So they're going to use Zendikar as the plane where they're gonna trap the spaghetti monster Eldrazi's. And then Sorin, using his unique magics and manas, and also just how hot he is, attracts the three Eldrazi's over to Zendikar. And then Eugene uses his colorless magic, and you literally can't see it. There's no color in it. It's just colorless magic. Kind of, what does he do? Eugene uses his colorless mana and breath to bind them to Zendikar, and that's when Nahiri raises her hammer. I don't know if it's a hammer actually, but I think hammer's a good image, so I'm gonna say it's a hammer. That's when Nahiri raises her little hammers and constructs a massive network of stone hedrons. And then the hedrons would form like a super prison, and then it keeps the spaghetti monster Eldrazi's from ever leaving. And Eugene, using his like little spirit dragon hands, shifted the hedrons to direct ley lines of energy, and these ley lines were not to get messed with. Nobody has to disrupt them. And I wonder what happens later. The three Eldrazi's were locked deep into the mountains of Akum, a chamber called the Eye of Ugin. And to make sure that the imprisonment can't be broken, the three of them sealed the chamber with a mystical lock, and it can only be unlocked by the presence of three whole planeswalker sparks and the colorless magics and breath, that was really weird, of Ugin himself. It all worked out. They went to the tasty Zendikar plane. They were attracted by Sorin's magic, and then the ley lines and stuff and what all that other stuff trapped them in the mountain in their physical form. And then afterwards they were donezo. So Sorin and Ugin was like, all right, cool, peace, we good. And Nahiri's like, wait, y'all are gonna come back, right? You're not gonna leave me to protect this forever. You know, if something happens, y'all are gonna come back, right? And they're like, yeah, of course. And then they leave, and then Nahiri has to stay and watch over Zendikar and protect the prison. So the plan worked, and the three Eldrazi's were sealed away, and Nahiri's like, I'm gonna look after this plane forever and make sure that the seal doesn't crack. And Nahiri liked it for a while, but then afterwards she's like, hey, this kind of sucks. So she decided to, she grew tired of living, and decided to hide away in meditational slumber. And then time goes by, and Ulamog, God, I hate Ulamog. Ulamog is like, hey, it'd be funny if we get the people out in Zendikar to like mess with those things they're not supposed to mess with. And the two Eldrazi's are like, yeah, you're so creative, that's a good idea, that's why you're the artsy one. So Ulamog kind of convinces or starts like whispering outside of like the seal somehow to get the people of Akum to start a cult. He's like, hey, guys, you know, be super funny. You know, be great if you see those hedrons and stuff. You see all that other stuff. Yeah, you should mess with that. So time goes by. Nahiri is like I don't know, being a neat or something, and the Eldrazi's kind of through like a game of telephone, they become gods to like the core, and also the vampires. They're vampires too, by the way. On Zendikar, people always forget the vampires are like, hey, you see this really important looking structure. Let's build on it. Let's build on the nexus of hedron networks and stuff like that, and just like them building stuff, doing the construction, and all the little cult guys kind of like whispering to each other and making a cult and TikToking their hijinks makes us feel weak, and then Eldrazi's are kind of spilling over the plane all over again. And then Nahiri wakes up, she's like, oh, I sense spaghetti monsters. And she goes out and she's like, yo, Sorin, Ugin, it's time. She's like DMing them desperately, like, guys, remember you promised to come back to look after this thing we made together. And then a little while goes back, and then she's like, shit, they ghosted me. So once she realized they ghosted her, she's like, I'm gonna remember that. She cleans up all by herself, and restores the prison. So the three Eldrazi, the three Eldrazi's are still stuck in the Eye of Ugin, still in there, but we know that it's been weakened, and Nahiri's like, I'm mad. Nahiri leaves Zendikar. She's like, I need to find Sorin, because he said he promised he'd be here, but he wasn't. So she planeswalks to guess where? Innistrad. Finally, we're in Innistrad, and she's like, hey Sorin, why weren't you here? The Eldrazi came out. It was weakened. And Sorin's like, oh, that's because your DM must have been absorbed by this thing called the Helvault. Yeah, that was it. I was in the shower, and yeah, we look at that. There was a missed call, and it must have been the Helvault. And my ley line's just like disrupting your cell phone waves or whatever. Yeah, that's what happened. Definitely didn't silence you. And at this point, Nahiri's like looking around, like, hey, look at this Helvault. It looks kind of similar. It looks like my hedrons, but like a lot shittier. And that's when she finds out that Sorin, and while all the time that Nahiri's been napping and stuff like that, Sorin has made his own network to protect Innistrad, just like Nahiri's, except like a little edgier and gothier, and that's what the Helvault is. So not only did he make his own network to protect Innistrad from Eldrazi or spaghetti influence, he also made something else, someone else. So Nahiri's like, hey, I'm mad, and I'ma hit you now because I'm mad, and that's my only way of knowing how to express my emotion because of toxic aggression. And Sorin's like, let's go, and then they start fighting, and out of nowhere, Avacyn shows up, this angel that everybody likes. She's hot, she's got like black robes, white hair, a lot of makeup. Everyone likes her, I like her, you like her, and that's why we even care about this set. Avacyn shows up and helps Sorin beat Nahiri, and then they chuck her into the Helvault. They're like, just get in there. Stuffing her into the Helvault. Sorin's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. We'll just lock her in the Helvault. And now Nahiri's locked in the Helvault, but you're wondering, wait, why did Sorin make Avacyn in the first place? Well, as if you didn't need like a reason to make, Avacyn. Just look at her real quick. Let's do a quick slow zoom in shot. Okay. So while Sorin was out, adventuring and having hijinks, doing all this stuff, the vampires on Innistrad, which he introduced himself, by the way, he started all that. The vampires got to like, there's too many of them. They started eating all the peoples. The peoples are all like, hidden in like, I don't know, they were getting pushed out. There's too many vampires, and Sorin, in his wisdom, was like, if there's too many wolves and not enough sheep, then the wolves will starve. So that's when he decided to make Avacyn someone powerful enough to push back the vampires and keep like a ecosystem balance where the vampires won't become too many to eat all the humans, and also allow the humans to thrive so that vampires can eat someone. That's how it worked out. So back to Avacyn. Avacyn is here to create balance on Innistrad. That's what Sorin made her for. And then Avacyn is there to keep back all the dark creatures and let kind of like the humans thrive a little bit, but not too much. Because balance, equilibrium. There's a whole church is made devoted to her. She has like sisters, Gisela, Bruna, Lisa, who we'll talk about very briefly, and also Sigarda. So with Avacyn and her sisters pushing back all the darkness to create this equilibrium, there was some spaces available, and when there's a space available, someone's gonna fill it, right? So these demonic forces start to manifest. Demons and also imps started just to like appear more, and then Avacyn's like, God damn it. She solos them one by one, but for some reason the demons keep coming back. So that's when Avacyn's like, what cannot be destroyed must be bound. Because she forges a collar made of silver to bind these demons. If she can't break them, then she's gonna tie them up. I think they're gonna like that. They're gonna tie them up and haul them away into a prison. And that silver collar, that circle shape that we see as a set symbol, becomes Avacyn's symbol, and the holy symbol carried by the Avacynian priests and the Cathars and the church and all that. It's basically kind of their version of a cross. So Avacyn and her sisters, by the way, Lisa, as I mentioned, was like, I'm gonna go hang out with the demons, and Avacyn's like, no, you're not, and Avacyn kills her and the entire flight. Just like, nah, I don't deal with that. I don't deal with traitors. So that's Lisa's story. Dunzo. All right, moving on. Back to Avacyn and her remaining alive sisters. They keep hoisting all these like creatures to be thrown into the Helvault like it's like a, I don't know, a garbage can or something. Also, don't forget Nahiri's still trapped in there. She keeps chucking all these demons in there, and then there's only a couple remaining outside. And here's when we introduce another character who's going to be very important to the story. One of the remaining demons is a very powerful one, so powerful that he's banned in Commander, and also I think other formats, I don't know. But it's Griselbrand. Griselbrand is one of the demonic masters of Liliana Vess, aka Professor Onyx, aka not very good at hiding herself. He lives on Innistrad, and he's still alive, or he's still out there, not trapped in the Helvault. And Avacyn's like, God damn it, I need to trap him. Griselbrand, he's super powerful, and he's like seeing all these other demons being trapped in the Helvault, and he's like, I've got a plan. So then he lands on the Helvault itself, like super big flex. Like, this is big Chad moves right here, by the way. He's like, you wanna trap me? Well, I'm gonna be on this thing. And then under literally a full moon, he's like, Avacyn, come at me, bro. 1v1 me, you chicken. Come at me. Square up, bro. Square up. Let's go. And Avacyn and Griselbrand then have an epic 1v1 duel, super epic battle that lasts for days. No one else can see it except for all the angels, and also this dude we know as Mike, but it's Mikaeus, Lunarch Mikaeus, and also a couple bishops. They're all watching. They're watching this epic battle. It's like I don't know, like probably Lord of the Rings epic, except 1v1, so that doesn't make sense. Then finally Avacyn is like, I'm so tired, bro. I'm gonna use all my strength, and I'm gonna drive this dude into the Helvault. And then Griselbrand throws his spear, and it impales Avacyn's heart. No, impaled. And then the binding spell that Avacyn put into her spear, then gets like backlashed, and as when she's impaled, and they're both drawn into the Helvault together. and then Mike or Mikaeus, Lunarch Mikaeus, and the other bishops are watching this, and they're like, "What? Did she just? Did Avacyn just? Did the demon just trap? Okay. So Avacyn's gone now, and Mikaeus and the other bishops are like, we must never talk about this. You know what? If we tell people the demon's trapped Avacyn, they're gonna panic. So let's just not tell anyone. Yeah. Then with Avacyn gone, all the dark creatures and things and all the dark forces that she kept behind for the equilibrium start to come back. They're like, the humans look tasty right now. And the humans are like praying to Avacyn, like, hey girl, I'm sorry for treating you wrong. You want to come back? But they don't know. Because the church ain't telling him stuff, which is pretty on par for what churches do. There are rumors being spread around like, hey, I think Avacyn's gone. No way. And now that Avacyn's gone, there's some people who are losing their faith, and it's just like chaos everywhere, just craziness, monsters coming out to attack people. Innistrad is all gothic and dark, and that's kind of where we're at the first Innistrad set. Shifting our focus over to Liliana, pretty sure we all know her, but if somehow you don't, Liliana Vess is a super hot planeswalker. She's like necromancer, hot goth girlfriend kind of vibes, and she has this thing called like the Chain Veil, and she's kind of cursed because she got all this power from making a contract of a bunch of demons. I think it's 4 of them. And Griselbrand, as we mentioned earlier, is one of them. And what she's trying to do is kill all of them one by one, so that she can get out of this contract that she made with them, which is one way of getting out of contracts. She arrives in Innistrad to find Griselbrand, but she doesn't realize that Griselbrand is currently stuck in the Helvault. So she's like looking around like, hey, what's up? Have you heard of this dude Griselbrand? Have you seen Griselbrand? Like putting up little like paper like missing posters everywhere, like missing child posters of Griselbrand. And while this is happening, she's also being chased by Garruk. Whole other story, like a lot of drama there. Just understand that Garruk is there as well. And Liliana's like, here, have some zombies, deal with that. She's trying to find Griselbrand, and then it takes her to the Church of Avacyn, who currently is kind of like dealing with a lot right now because Avacyn's gone, as we just covered, and there's like things attacking them all over. There's no Avacyn to push things back, and they're trying to keep her out too. They're like, hey girl, we ain't got time to deal with your stuff right now. We got bigger things to deal with. And Liliana's like, nah, I need to know where Griselbrand is. I need to know. So she's like there in the trying to go to the High Cathedral in the city of Thraben. But while she's there at that time, they're being besieged by an army of zombies, which is like kind of good timing. So leading the Siege of Thraben is a brother and sister, Geralf and Gissa. They're both necromancers. They used to live in Thraben, but they got kicked out. And afterwards, Gissa and Geralf have these things called necro wars, where they basically like fight each other with zombies for some reason. I guess it's fun. I guess it's like a sibling thing, but they're doing that. And eventually, they were like, hey, well, Geralf was like, hey, Gissa, you want to stop doing this? You want to do something productive for once? And Gissa's like, what do you want to do? And Geralf is like, why don't we just, instead of wasting our zombies fighting each other, why don't you and I raise zombies to fight something together? And Gissa's like, oh, I never thought about that. That sounds like a good idea. So together they lay siege to Thraben, and they made, well, I think Geralf made a scab general called Grimgrin, which is very hard to pronounce. Grimgrin, and they're trying to take over Thraben, laying siege to it. Gissa has like a giant army of undead and zombies and Grimgrin, and they're all fighting and battering through the main gates of Thraben, while Geralf is all sneaky. He's like, hey, cool, I'm just gonna like do my thing. kind of like sneak by right here. Excuse me, sorry, there's zombies over there. Go deal with that. Oh, don't mind me. Excuse me. And he's sneaking into Thraben, and nobody notices because there's like a big ol' army of zombies they're dealing with. And he goes up all the way to the chambers where Mikaeus is hanging out at, and Mikey is like writing in his journal like, "I'm, dear mother, it is the good year, something, and there are zombies attacking outside. Our god is missing. I also turned away a goth lady who I think was a bad idea, but we'll see what happens." And then Geralt knocks on the door and interrupts him, and then basically Geralt kills Mikaeus and rips his heart out for some reason to take the heart for Gisa. I don't really know how this is gonna play out, but he does that. And he leaves the chambers. Mikey's dead, and then that's when Liliana rolls up looking for Mikaeus, and she's like, "Where? Hey, excuse me, do you know where Mikaeus is?" And Geralt is like holding onto his heart and like, yeah, he's like, he puts away the heart behind his back, and he's like, he's back there. Someone killed him. I don't know who, but yeah, he's there. Nice to meet you, lady. And he goes back out, and Liliana walks over and is like, "Oh, he's dead? What a shame. It's not like I can raise him back to life and still talk to him that way. Hey, I can do that." So Liliana raises Mikaeus back to life to question him, and she goes all Batman on him. She's like, "Tell me where Griselbrand is. Where's Griselbrand? I didn't find Griselbrand." And then Mikaeus tells her about the Helvault. So back to Geralt. Geralt is walking out with this heart for some reason for Gisa, and he's expecting like, "Oh man, I just killed Mikaeus. My sister's leading army. We've got Grim. It's over. It's donezo. We're gonna win." And he walks out, and for some reason, he sees that all the zombos, like, they're losing, and he's like, wait, why? What happened? So here's when we shift our focus to Thalia. Thalia is one of Gavin's most promising Cathars. She's a young inquisitor, soldier, vampire slayer, total waifu material, and she's one of the most distinguished Cathars, super caring. She becomes the right-hand person of the Guardian of Thraben, the city that's being besieged right now. This dude named Lothar, and through Lothar, Thalia learns about the existence of the Helvault, but she's not told what's in the Helvault because nobody knows. But she knows about it, which is going to be important in a little bit. And during the siege, she has this brilliant idea. Unfortunately, it also involves destroying the city, but she lights all the houses on fire, so the fire then burns the zombie army and pushes back Gisa, who's leading the army with Grimgrin. And actually, Gisa then gets caught by this dude named Outrage. Outrage, you probably have seen before on cards. But also during the siege, Lothar is killed. So then that's when Thalia becomes the Guardian of Thraben. So Thalia is now in charge of protecting the Helvault and being the Guardian of Thraben. And Liliana is still trying to break Griselbrand out of the Helvault. And that's when she starts to scheme and have a plan. So what she does is she somehow knows that Thalia has that knows about the Helvault. But Liliana herself cannot break the Helvault. So what she does is she kind of creates a trail to lead Thalia over with her Cathars to the Helvault. So then she can get Thalia to break the Helvault. So she does that, and then Thalia falls for the trap. She and her Cathars follow this kind of, I guess, Eminem trail, except it's like zombies or something. And she shows up at the Helvault. She's fighting the zombies around the Helvault with her Cathars, and then Liliana shows up and paralyzes Thalia with her magic, holding them all with their spell. And the ghouls continue attacking them and ripping their flesh from their bones, and they can't resist it, and it's kind of graphic and gory, so we're not going to talk about it too much. And then Liliana's giving them an ultimatum. She's like, either this shiny rock will be annihilated or your compatriots. The choice is yours. So Thalia, being the caring, empathetic person she is, she's like, I can't let people die, but I have to also protect the Helvault. What do I do? the Cathars are trying to be strong. They're like, don't do it, Thalia, don't do it. We can handle it. But then they can't handle it. It's too painful, so they start screaming, and then it reaches Thalia's sensitive heart, and Thalia is like, damn it. So then Thalia is like thinking it through in her head. She's like, I don't know what this Helvault does. I just need to know protect it. But Thraben is like destroyed, all burnt down. There's like werewolves, there's like vampires, there's just like, it's not looking good. So what's the point of protecting this Helvault when my own people are suffering? So then she's like, God damn it, Avacyn, damn it. And she points her sword at the Helvault, and then the spell that Liliana has prepped on the Helvault is complete, and it breaks, and for a moment all sound ceases. So then the Helvault is destroyed, and Avacyn, it returns out of the Helvault. She's like floating, looking super fine, considering that she's been stuck in this vault for so long. And through her like awesome, pure awesomeness and light, Avacyn becomes the angel of hope at this moment, covered in light probably, pure, whole, and eternal. And then she pushes back all the evilness, brings back all that equilibrium. Angels are coming back. They used to be sad. They're like, boo-hoo, Avacyn's gone. I don't know where she is. We could probably done something about Siege of Thraben, but we didn't. Avacyn's back. Oh, now it's time to get back to work. And the Cathar and all the other people who had faith-based magic based on Avacyn's, their faith to Avacyn is like getting empowered, and they're pushing back all the evil out of the human villages. And it's all going good. In Avacyn's return, she also soon casts this thing called the Curse Mute. The Curse Mute is a powerful wave of spells that helps transform all the werewolves of Innistrad to be free, who wants to be free of their curse, into the Wolfir. So that happens, and it also helps out Garruk, who we were talking about earlier. Garruk was following Liliana for some reason, and he gets like cured for like a hot second. He's like, oh man, I'm so mad, I'm so cursed. And then, Curse Mute, I'm a little sane, but the power of the chain veil is still too strong on him, so he goes back to being crazy. But that happens. And meanwhile, everyone's distracted by Avacyn and how good she looks. Griselbrand is like kind of sneaking out real slow, real quietly, getting out of there, and he goes off to hide. But Liliana is like gunning for him. She's got that GPS on him. She's like following him, killing angels and demons and stuff like that. Doesn't matter. She's out to get him. And she finally corners Griselbrand. And then Griselbee's like, hey, cool girl, cool. You want some power? I'll give you power. And Liliana's like, nah, bitch. I got power. And she uses the chain veil to kill him permanently, put him in the ground, I guess, forever. I guess she doesn't have to bind things because she's powerful enough. She just destroys them. Someone else who also escaped from the Helvault, if you remember, is Nahiri. And think about when you have someone as angry as Nahiri trapped in the Helvault by this dude that betrayed her. She probably stewed for a long time, and that's when she leaves and goes back to Zendikar and finds something unpleasant. Nahiri returns to Zendikar, but at this point, Zendikar has been really wrecked by the Eldrazi from the rise of the Eldrazi and also the Gatewatch story, and she's like, oh, I'ma get him. If she was already mad before, imagine how mad she is seeing that Zendikar has been like pretty wrecked. So she leaves Zendikar and starts to plot for her revenge against Sorin. So Nahiri goes back to Innistrad and starts building all these little structures called cryptoliths with her little hammer. I'm still imagining she has a little hammer. She builds it all over Innistrad to mess with the ley lines. Because if you remember, a while back, Sorin set up this kind of protection through the ley lines and also the Helvault, and also actually Avacyn to protect against Emrakul, or protects against Eldrazi spaghetti influence. But Nahiri now is like building all these cryptoliths to mess with it, but also to act as a lure or a bait to attract Emrakul over here. And Emrakul, the biggest, spaghettiest monster of them all, is like chilling right outside of the plane, and it starts to make everyone go a little funny. We haven't talked about Sigarda for a while. Sigarda is one of the sisters to Bruna, Gisela, and now the deceased Lisa. She is also known as the host of herons and the protector of humans, like most angels are, but I guess she's extra protector of humans. And she was approached by Gisela and Bruna during this time, and they flanked her, and then Avacyn shows up. Avacyn herself, and they're like at this point, totally influenced by Emrakul, and Avacyn was like, hey, you want to do some genocide? And Sigarda's like, no. Sigarda didn't even respond to Avacyn, but Avacyn sensed the hesitation, so she just blew up the roof to her solar or whatever, just blew up the roof to her house, and was like, was threatening that if you don't commit genocide with me, bad things will happen. But she was so upset against Avacyn for the death of Lisa that she cried and vowed to fight the Archangel. Hearing that Avacyn is now corrupted, Tamiyo is interested, so she planeswalks to Innistrad to learn more about this phenomenon. But she only wants to understand. She's a researcher and doesn't really want to face or destroy Avacyn, because she knows that Angel Avacyn is here to protect Innistrad. The angels who were made to protect the humans, to keep the equilibrium, started to attack them and kill them. People started to also get kind of like spaghetti arms and octopus arms, as we saw in like extra stuff, and there's like totally weird stuff happening. And wait, did someone say weird? Then we get investigator Jace, Private Eye, just coming over here, and he's like, I'm here to investigate weird. Actually, at this point, the Gatewatch has already defeated 2 of the Eldrazi's in the other stories, so Jace is here to find Sorin, to meet him, to learn how to defeat Emrakul, and also just talk more, because he knows that Sorin is one of the original 3. They can't find Nahiri, and they can't find, well, they did find Eugene, but that's a different story. So he's here to find Sorin, and as he's trying to find Sorin, he notices that this plane is so spooky and weird, and people have like extra limbs and stuff. While Jace is off investigating things, Liliana went back to her own estate on Innistrad and just wanted to rest, to chill. She had her own adventures. Girl needs a rest. So she's watching out on the plane, seeing all the weird stuff happen, all the cryptoliths and all that stuff, and then she starts boosting her own defenses. And that's when Jace shows up. He's here to investigate the clues, trying to find out the weird stuff, and he's being chased by werewolves. And Liliana uses her own zombies to like drive off the werewolves, whatever. And then she quickly dresses up, gets out of her sweatpants, dresses up in her nice fancy fur and like purple dress again, and like acts like nothing. Quickly gets a glass of wine. It's like, oh hey Jace, I'm just hanging out like this. This is how I lounge. What do you want? And then Jace is like, Lily, I need to find Sorin. I'm trying to find out more about Eldrazi's and also learn about the weird happenings. So I need to find Sorin. And that's when Lily is like drinking wine, and she spits out the wine, and she's like, no, don't do it. It's not. Don't look for Sorin. Bad idea. But anyways, Jace doesn't listen, so he goes off to find him. So Jace, still trying to find Sorin, then goes to the Markov Manor and finds all of the Markovs stuck in stone. And he's like, yo, this is something, isn't it? I should not chill here for too long. And it turns out that Nahiri has left a declaration in stone as a warning of her vengeance. So when she escaped the Helvault, went back to Zendikar, made a quick stop on the way back before making the cryptoliths on the Markov Manor to let Sorin know what was coming, because she's mad. Jace starting to get affected by the cryptoliths, and he's starting to suspect Liliana. He's like, oh, did Liliana do this? Even though Liliana doesn't work of stone. But he goes back to her manor and tries to have like a telepath battle, and then Liliana's protected by this person called the Raven Man. Doesn't really matter. We don't need to talk about this right now. But she's protected, and he's also convincing her to kill Jace. And Liliana's like, nah, nah, I don't want to kill him. So she brings Jace back to his senses, and while they're talking, the cryptoliths are like kind of rising and trying to influence them again, and Jace is asking Liliana for the direction of Thraben to find and confront Avacyn, and Liliana's like, okay, it's that way. You just take a right here, you go down this the whatever path, and then you take a left there. So Jace is off to find Avacyn. So you're wondering, actually, where was Sorin in all of this? When Sorin came back to Innistrad a little while ago, he went back home. He went back to the Markov Manor, but it was in ruins, all twisted up. Definitely not a nice looking place. Property value definitely went down, and Sorin, knowing that his past has definitely goofed him up, definitely causing problems now. Totally should have helped Nahiri a while back, but hindsight 2020. He then decides, like, man, I need some help. So to have some help to protect Innistrad from what's about to happen, he is led to Olivia Voldaren, and he's like, hey, I need your help. I need your bloodline to help me out. I know we're not cool. I know I made Avacyn and we're not cool, but please, I messed up and I need help. And Olivia is like, I can help if you can kill Avacyn. And he's like, damn it. Okay. Jace and Tamiyo's investigations, Sherlock Holmes adventure, leads them into the Thraben Cathedral, and that's when Avacyn herself shows up. Avacyn bursting through the windows, all angry, mad. You should see her now. If you thought she was goth, she's even gothier with her red-tipped wings. And Avacyn is about to kill him, and that's when Sorin shows up. So Sorin actually offers to let Avacyn kill him. He doesn't super care about Jace and Tamiyo, but after talking to Avacyn, he's like, man, she's really gone. So they fight for a lot. She's super mad that he's trying to stop him. She thinks that he's the greatest evil of Innistrad, and was also his fault for like starting everything, responsible for all the madness, and the cathedral is basically just like torn apart in this epic battle. And finally Sorin just kind of kills her, and he's like really trying to make her anew and cleanse her mind. Really doesn't want to unmake her, but finally Avacyn refused. She's like, if I'm not the daughter you want, then we must battle again and again forever, for I will never yield. I can do this all day. So realizing that he can't fix this anymore and Avacyn's too far gone, he angrily unmakes her, fulfilling Olivia Voldaren's part of the bargain so that she can help him to protect Innistrad, in exchange losing his greatest creation, Avacyn. Oh, it's so sad, it's so sad. But unmaking Avacyn was the final step required for Nahiri's trap to spring, because Avacyn was also a shield protecting Innistrad from Emrakul. And now that he's unmade that shield, Emrakul does like a big super like grand entrance, like floating in from the space, and you're like, whoa, what is all that spaghetti up there? It's so scary. Now that Emrakul is like floating in the sky, entering the atmosphere, it's just getting really bad. Like the people with extra limbs just turning into Eldrazi monsters, and like everything's turning into an Eldrazi monster. Even the angels, like Gisela and Bruna, turn into like nightmare fuel Eldrazi angels, which are pretty awesome actually, but very scary, very scary. Eldrazi people, Eldrazi angels, Eldrazi everything. Eldrazi werewolves attacking the plane. It's all chaos. Eldrazi Emrakul, spaghetti monster in the sky. Innistrad is Dunzo, and that's when Olivia is leading her own army of vampires as promised, because Avacyn is now unmade, and she's helping fight back against Nahiri's cultists and the Eldrazi people and the mad influence, Emrakul influence creatures. and Nahiri is finally confronting Sorin on the battlefield. This is her final moments of revenge. She has enabled Emrakul to enter this world, to destroy it the same way that the Eldrazi destroyed her home of Zendikar. And then Olivia is like, hey, you know what, girl? Normally, like literally any other day, we would be best friends, because I'm not a big fan of Sorin too. And you know what? I would really like to see you kick his ass, but I promise that I can't let you do that, because there was another person I don't like, and I don't like her more than I don't like Sorin at the moment. So here's how the cards are dealt. Sorry, girl. We will be chill. You seem like a super cool girl. And Nahiri's like, okay. So she gets her cultists and just like summons a swarm of Eldrazi fiends to deal with Olivia and fight her, while Sorin and Nahiri 1v1 each other. Yes, in the Markov estate, they go back and do their fight. Sorin and Nahiri are having yet another epic duel. It is super epic. Imagine like unlimited blade works, like Nahiri raining swords against Sorin, and Sorin's using his like edgy goth magic to protect himself and fight back. But ultimately, Sorin is defeated. The power of spite and hate is just too strong this time, and Nahiri encases him in stone, and she's like, you're gonna watch your world get destroyed like mine was, because you didn't show up. You ghosted me thousands of years ago when I asked you for help. You promised and you didn't show up, so this is what you get, vampire boy. And Sorin is stuck in rocks. He's stuck in the manor with the rest of his family that Nahiri also encased. God, she is something, isn't she? This is pretty dark. But he's stuck there, and Olivia, who is dealing with all the Eldrazi fiends and stuff like that, she shows up in the manor, and she's like, what a shame. I guess I'm the new Lord of Innistrad, huh? Can't wait for my own Planeswalker card. And she taunts him and leaves, which is pretty boss in its own right. So after leaving Sorin to die in the mansion, Olivia and her vampire army then march towards Thraben, where all the residents of Innistrad are preparing for their last stand. This is basically the Helm's Deep of this story. And this is when Thalia shows up with her own fleet, and to help protect Thraben and stand side by side. The last alliance of vampires and people. And they have a temporary truce so they can work alongside to help purge Thraben of the monsters trying to take it. And you're probably wondering, what happened to Thalia all this time? After Avacyn appeared, there was some peace, and Thalia was doing her thing. She's alive. Her Cathars, the ones that lived through the Helvault, are also alive. And then everything was fine for a while, but then the Church of Avacyn was infiltrated by this cult who worshipped Ormondal, who is like another demon. Let's not get into that. This cult called Skursdag, and seeing that corruption was just too deep within the church and unable to fix it, Thalia left it. You can imagine, like, she just dropped her Avacyn sword or whatever, or her Church of Avacyn sword, and it's like, no, I can no longer take part of this. That's not like canon. I just made that up. And she left to create the Order of Saint Traft, to just battle evil overall. And she was gifted the Spear of Avacyn after Avacyn was unmade, I guess. And that's when she shows up. She makes a pact with Olivia Voldaren's vampire army, and joined with Saint Traft's spirit, she's fighting Eldrazi. But then Brisella shows up. Brisella is like Gisela and Bruna mixed together, like apple, pineapple, like mixed together. and even though she's all juiced up with Saint Traft's powers, she can't fight back against such a strong, monstrous foe. And that's when Sigarda comes to rescue them in this epic battle at Thraben. They're fighting Brisella, massive Eldrazi spaghetti angel monster thing, and Thalia is boosted by Saint Traft, the ghost of Saint Traft, and Sigarda is there to fight him, but Sigarda gets caught. Brisella's like being all like, "Sister, you should have joined us, bar," and then kind of grabs Sigarda and like, because they're so big, and just puts her into the chest and like, "We shall be one. This is what sisterhood is about." This is not a real quote. They're grabbing Sigarda and putting her into the chest and trying to fuse as one, and then Thalia's like, I don't know what to do, and Saint Traft is like, yo, use the spear, dog, and then Thalia grabs the broken sphere Avacyn and like feels all powerful, and basically drives it into Brisella, which frees Sigarda, and then kills Brisella like that. And Sigarda's like, "Thanks. I didn't really do anything. It was all you, but thanks." Back on the battlefield, Jace has went back to Zendikar with the help of Tamiyo. He went back to Zendikar and was like, "Gatewatch, assemble." It's not his job. I think that's Gideon. But the Gatewatch comes over to Innistrad and they start fighting the Eldrazi fiends alongside the local inhabitants, Thalia, everyone else. As an epic battle. And this is when Liliana is off in her estate looking over all this battle, and she's like, I should leave. This plane is donezo. Look at how big that spaghetti monster is. I'm not gonna beat him. But then she changed her mind because she was starting to remember her feelings for Cloak Boy. If you didn't know, Liliana and Jace had a romantic history together. So, being like the tsundere she is, she decided that she's gonna go help. So she shows up, helps them out, and raises a zombie army to fight the Eldrazi fiends and horrors alongside the Gatewatch. The Chainveil itself is like telling her, "Yo, get out. Time to get out. Girl, it's not worth it. Cloak Boy's not worth it. This plane's not worth it. Get out. Time to leave Innistrad." But Liliana is like squaring up. She's squaring up against the Titan and not listening to her own Chainveil. And she's drawing even more power and getting even stronger. And then with that, it protected her against Emrakul's influence and allowed her to strike Emrakul directly, which is pretty badass. But also, this drawing so much power has left her kind of in a weakened state, and leaves her almost near death, and she passes out. But after striking at Emrakul with Liliana's powers, Jace is now communicating with a figment of Emrakul who manifests as Emeria. Remember, they were kind of gods to cores, and that was her name, Emeria. So she's Emeria is telling that she is incomplete and unfulfilled, and that Innistrad should welcome her and not reject her. And Tamiyo has figured out that Emrakul cannot be defeated like the other two titans that the Gatewatch has. You can't just beat them like that. Emrakul's strong. And Emrakul, just like the demons of the past, cannot be destroyed, but must be bound, must be sealed. So they figure out that the moon is the origin of the Helvault. So Tamiyo combined forces with Jace and Nissa to try and seal Emrakul. And they create a ritual and a spell, and at first it fails. But then Tamiyo takes out one of her ironclad scrolls. Tamiyo has vowed to never read the scroll, but she does, and she says, "I just no longer want to play. There should be blossoms, not barren resentment. The soil was not receptive. It is not my time. Not yet." And it successfully seals the Titan on Innistrad's moon. So that is Emrakul's part of Innistrad's history. Emrakul's currently bound on the moon, and we don't know what's gonna happen next. After the battle, Gideon approaches Tamiyo and offers her a place in the Gatewatch, but Tamiyo's like, "Nah, that's too much for me. I'm just a science person. I'm not really into all this superhero stuff." But who does take a role in the Gatewatch is Liliana. Liliana's like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." Liliana's been healed by the other planeswalkers, and seeing that a group of allies could be useful for her in the future, she decides to join the Gatewatch, but only with the intention to use them for her own plans, which is classic Lily moves. Jace and Tamiyo conclude their adventure on Innistrad by meeting one last time in an abandoned chapel, Tamio reveals to him that she was possessed and the scroll spell was not her design, but Emrakul designed it. So she left afterwards, and Jace, like us, are left to wonder what was Emrakul's plan all along. So that is the history of Innistrad so far, before the next Innistrad set comes out. Thank you for watching and listening. I am History AI. I'm gonna go get a drink of water now because that was a lot of talking. And see you all next time. Goodbye. I also want to give a shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. Yes, I have a Patreon now. You don't have to show support that way, but if you really want to, you can. It helps out. It helps buy me coffee, I guess. But I also recommend that you should spend that money on yourself. Invest in a stock or something. Or, I don't know, invest it in yourself. Only do it if you really want to show support that way. You can also show support by just leaving a nice comment, talking with me, engaging with me on YouTube, and following me and stuff like that. That's also perfectly good. But for all my patrons, I'm going to give a quick shout out. Thank you, Beard Umbra, Sjoyard D. Han Kramer, can't pronounce, sorry that. Marcus Ogier, Adam Smith, Masters of Modern Podcast, which is Alex Kess. We also have Nathan Jones, My Son Playem, MTG Fox Mulder, Joshua, and Tim. Thank you for your patronage. Hope you enjoyed it.